Hey volleyball fans, Rob St. Clair here from the European Volleyball Show, bringing you another EuroVolley 2021 preview, looking at Turkey in Pool D on the women's side, starting off their EuroVolley journey against Romania in Romania on August 18th in Pool D. As many of you well know, the Turkish women's national team has really risen to international dominance in the last 10 or 15 years, following kind of the influx of talent and resources into their domestic club league. The Turkish women's club league, one of the very, very best in the world, extremely strong top to bottom, with clubs routinely finishing on the podium or winning CEV club competitions. And their national team has really followed that, gained momentum and talent from that. Recently, of course, finishing in second place in EuroVolley 2019, that incredible 5-set thriller in Turkey, eventually won by Serbia. But even more recently than that, Turkey qualified for the Tokyo Olympics in thrilling fashion. And as of the recording of this video, just finished their Olympic experience, losing to Korea in the quarterfinals. So I want to talk a little bit about Turkey's Olympic experience and their lineup and who they played and how that all went, to see if we can pull any expectations out of there for the upcoming European Championships. So first of all, Turkey's record, starting off the tournament 3-0 over the defending gold medalists in China, was a show-stopping win, an incredible start to the tournament for Turkey that really put the world on notice. They then lost 1-3 to Italy, lost 2-3 to the USA, beat Argentina 3-0, and beat the ROC, or Russia, 3-2. To then advance to the quarterfinals, where they drew Korea, losing in 5 very, very close sets in the quarterfinals to finish in 5th place. So a good Olympic debut really for Turkey. Well, a debut with this particular Turkish team. But I thought that they had a pretty good matchup against Korea and had a chance to medal at this tournament, and I think they really did too. So I want to talk a little bit about the lineup and what we saw from Coach Giovanni Guidetti throughout the Olympics, see if we can draw some conclusions for EuroVolley coming up. Starting off with the things that are pretty certain or set in stone. The middle blockers, first of all, Ada Erdem and Zehra Güneş, two of the very best in the world, and I think locked into those 2 starter spots without question. The libero, of course, Simge Ekoz, very, very good. The only libero on the Olympic roster and the only one Turkey really needed, in my opinion. And one of the outside hitters, Meliha Ismailalu, pretty consistently in the starting lineup, played almost every set of the tournament, but even she was pulled for set 5 against Korea. And that's where it gets a little interesting for me, because the second outside hitter position for Turkey has been a little less consistent, with Guidetti going to the bench pretty routinely. Hande Baladin has started most of those matches, but hasn't finished all that many of them. And then the setter and the opposite positions are really interesting. They have 2 world-class players at each of those positions. Setters, of course, Naz and Cansu Özbey, and opposites Meryem Boz and the young Ebrar Karakurt. And if I'm Guidetti, I don't know, between those 2 setters and those 2 opposites, who I'm going to start consistently. It's a very difficult discussion, and we've seen it throughout the Olympic Games. I don't think, going back through all their matches, that one pair of setter and opposite started every set of a given match. Guidetti would routinely go to the 6-2, or then swap it entirely and start the other setter and or opposite throughout as the match went on. So Guidetti pretty quick to the bench, which is something that we've seen of his philosophy in his years coaching Vakif Bank Istanbul and with the Turkish national team. But it's a really interesting problem to have, having such world-class talent at both setter and opposite, those 2 crucial positions, and not really knowing who to consistently start in those spots. If I were Turkey, I think they would benefit a little bit from some consistency, some expectation about who is going to be the starting setter and starting opposite every time, so they can have some continuity and some chemistry, and then in desperate times, or if you really need to change the pace, bring in another world-class player off the bench. It's very difficult to do, but to commit to that starting 7 might be really useful for Turkey, and I'm very curious to see what they go with here in the European Championships. They have a tough pool, Pool D, featuring Finland, Sweden, the Netherlands, Ukraine, and the host Romania. I do expect Turkey to win that pool. I think they're the most talented, but seeding may be an issue because that pool is so good. The Netherlands are really good. Romania might be an upset bid playing at home. So Turkey going to have a difficult path to reach the finals of EuroVolley for the 2nd time in a row. They absolutely can, and I know their goal as a national team program is to win this tournament. So we'll see what they can do these next 2 weeks of preparation. EuroVolley 2021 starting on August 18th for Turkey, and shortly thereafter for the rest of these teams. A lot more previews coming. Subscribe here on the CEV YouTube and follow along to all the CEV digital platforms for a lot more leading up to the tournament. We will see you next time.